York Comic Con. Smoke 'em if you got 'em. You have found yourself at the Freak Brothers panel, all about the brand new adult animated comedy. And I am here with, statistically speaking, what has to be the bulk of the team behind the show. If we can go to the wide shot, I'm going to try and introduce everyone in order because they don't want to hear from me. All right, there we go. We have Tiffany Haddish, John Goodman, Adam Devine, Blake Anderson, Courtney Solomon, Alan Friedland, Alan Cohen, Pete Davidson, Mark Canton, and the great Woody Harrelson. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Cacophony erupts. Okay, well, let's dive right in. We solicited a bunch of questions about the show and the process from our audience, and our first one comes to us from Harry Belaski, who asks, were any members of the cast familiar with Gilbert Shelton's work before this project? The comic this is based on, of course, a classic underground comic that has sold more than 45 million copies in 20 countries over 50 years. So I'm going to go to John right away because he's holding up the prop. John, what's your history with the Freak Brothers?
I started reading Gilbert Shelton about 1966, and just when I really had the money to buy underground comics around 1979 or so, I just started collecting them and would stay up very late at night reading them into the next day and another day.
Yeah, and I understand, wasn't there some kind of connection made on the Righteous Gemstones set? That's what I heard. Is that right, Adam?
Oh, yeah. Well, I brought, I was reading some comics, the Freak Bros, and John was like, is that the Freak Bros? And I'm like, it sure is. And then I told him that I was producing the cartoon, and he was like, oh, I love the Freak Brothers. So then when we were casting up the show, I was like, I think I know a guy who would make a great Fat Freddy. And, you know, and the stars aligned.
I never thought anybody would pick me for anything, but yeah, I was really excited to jump on.
Well, admittedly, I was like, I think I'd make a great Fat Freddy. And then I told him John Goodman's interested, and they're like, yeah, maybe we just go with John. And I'm like, okay, yeah, fair enough.
Well, I always liked the comics, but I didn't know them that well. I thought they were really cool, the ones I'd seen. I mean, ironic, you would think that I wouldn't know Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers, but yeah, I was really excited by the cast, by the creative team, who I think are just phenomenal, and I thought it was just the things that they showed me, the scripts they had, I thought were really funny, and I thought, you know, people might resonate with them.
So how did that all come together? Where was sort of the spark that sort of, because obviously one of the main aspects of the show that's getting everyone hyped is the incredible cast. How did that come together? Who sort of started the ball rolling and assembled this A-team?
That would have been Mark and myself. You know, we sort of put the whole show together in the first place. We both got in touch with the IP at different times in history, different ways, years and years and years ago, loved it. And, you know, one day he came in my office and there it was on my desk. And he said, oh, we got to get that. So we got it. And then we were like, God, these 4 characters are amazing. You know, we got to have the right people play the parts. So, I mean, we sort of set our standards really high. And here was the blessed thing about this. I think pretty much barring one, everybody we went to first said yes. So this is the dream cast that we have with us. In fact, I may even be wrong about the one. It was a different thing we were doing. Everybody said yes that we wanted. Isn't that right, Mark?
Right. I think pretty much, look, because neither Courtney nor myself had ever in our careers done animation. So we approached this IP with the passion that we both had and thought of it as a potential franchise, and it wasn't necessarily going to be about animation. So we thought of, well, who would be the best actors and the right people for all of these roles? And we turned out to be incredibly fortunate because we got the right people. And every day, like, it's incredible that every time that happens, but in particular here, because each of these characters is so important to the combination as well. And we're very fortunate to have everyone aboard.
Well, absolutely. And just from the cast wondering, so like Pete and Tiffany, what appealed to you about the project enough that you decided to hop on board?
They told me I would be the highest paid out of everybody. I was like, bet, reparations, let's do it.
Hey, Tiffany, you weren't supposed to tell anybody that. No, I'm just
Oh, you know I can't keep a secret.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
No, I really loved it. I love the comic book already. I knew about it. I love that they were smoking weed, and I love that they're traveling through time. And I was like, I get to play a cat? Cool, because I think I got cat eyes anyways. Let's do it.
It's so funny because Tiffany was literally, the cat originally is a male character, and we wanted it to be a female character. And the Allens were like, you know, we don't know who could play this cat the way it needs to be played. There's really only one person. It's Tiffany Haddish. Right. And so when I talk about the Dreamcast, we're like, it has to be Tiffany Haddish. And we went to Tiffany, and it turned out to be Tiffany.
Exactly.
Daddy, meow. Pete, why'd you decide to do it?
Well, I just saw the wonderful cast that has been put together. I wasn't familiar with the comic book, but as soon as they told me what it was, I was like, yeah, that's fucking awesome. So time traveling weed smoking group is really cool, and I'm just excited to, you know, get to work with these guys. It's pretty fun.
We also told Pete that he'd be the highest paid actor in Staten Island. So
yeah. Thank you.
Oh, but not on the cast, so you could keep both lives alive. That's great. Kind of related, Desinius asks, will you be doing some episodes based off the comics, or is the show going to be completely new content? Because you did mention you swapped around some details of Fat Freddy's cat. How much is it rooted in the comic? Are there any Easter eggs, anything that fans of the original comics will recognize?
There's a couple. You know, we tried to update the show and bring it into 2020 as much as we can, but there are some characters from the past. Norbert the Narc makes an appearance. Won't tell you how, but in a pretty cool way. So we tried to put a few things from the past, but try to update it as much with everything in 2020.
Well, like Adam and Blake, can you explain your characters? How do you enter into the Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers verse, if you will?
Well, they sort of came to us and were like, who are two of the biggest stoners that we could find? And me and Blake were at the top of the list. And
icons.
A couple of high cons over here.
Yes.
And yeah, we got attached pretty early on as producers. We actually were looking to develop it ourselves. And then when we reached out, these guys were already kind of running with it. So we kind of reached out to them being like, can we work together? And they were like, yes, we can. And then once we assembled this cast, we were like, well, we need to find a way that we can actually get in and you know, make more money off this damn project.
Yeah, but
and get our voices heard. And the Allens came with a really funny idea.
Yeah, obviously all the main characters were taken up by way better actors and superstars. And we're like, Allens, please put us in, please.
God damn it. We signed up to be the stars of this thing. And they're like, okay, we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, so we created these two characters called Chuck and Charlie, which is a little bit of an homage to Cheech and Chong. And the one thing that we wanted to do was we wanted to get Blake and Adam into the recording booth at the same time, because when you do, it is pretty incredible. And every time we've done that, we have a script, and not much of the script stays because these guys just take it and run with it and play off each other. And it does become a highlight of every episode. So very fortunate to be able to.
It makes our writing look a lot better too.
Yeah.
Makes you guys go like, oh, they read a lot of dick jokes. I didn't know.
That's our whole improv.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to see a couple of the minisodes already, and I got to say, I was especially amazed by Pete and John, your voices. Can I ask John first, especially? That's like a very strong choice for Fat Freddy. How do you go about looking at Fat Freddy and deciding that's the voice you landed on? Did you go through any other voices, or did you know exactly what he sounded like?
I haven't quite done it yet. It'll come to me.
I believe you've taped most of the season, right?
Yeah. No, just reading it, and I didn't get to it till we recorded. So, and it's still changing.
Pete, what was your plan of attack for Phineas?
I can't really do any impressions except for Gilbert Gottfried, so I pretty much just copied Gilbert Gottfried, and that is the voice of Phineas.
I hope you just morph into Gilbert.
I mean,
I hope that's your
good shot that happens.
Yeah,
I would buy
to
some.
see that.
Yeah, I would invest in Affleck if you are the duck, dude.
Yeah, man.
I would.
You got that duck money coming your way.
That duck money.
Well, I knew Franklin was supposed to be Southern, which of course felt like a good idea to me since I'm Southern, and I can do any voice really Southern, really Texas. Anyway, I got excited by the prospect of just trying to do some weird thing where he gets a little, you know, those people who are talking and they go into this kind of thing where they can't, you know, like just this almost like a little mini avalanche of laughter with every line or something. Not exactly, but you know, just to try something goofy like that. And I really like, you know, how it turned out. And of course the writers and well, the whole creative team is really open and they like to try stuff. So it's been a lot of fun. What the other guys are doing too, I think they're just doing great. And I got to say, particularly Tiffany Haddish, I just love that cat. I mean, it's just so funny. She's done such a great job.
So you already alluded to the fact that you actually set the show in 2020, right? It's set in modern day. It's not a true adaptation back in the 60s. Can we hear about how that happens? Are the Freak Brothers immortal? We're learning. How did that work out? And why that decision? What went into deciding that it has to be set in modern day?
Mark, you want to take it?
No, Court, go ahead and take it.
So, I mean, we wanted to bring these guys from the 60s to modern day. We thought that was going to be a fun thing to play with because they would get to experience everything from the vantage point of somebody from the past and these stoners from the past. We all agreed on that idea. So we came up with a device. You know, they're not immortal. Really what, you know, I don't really want to give it away, but I mean, what, you know, happens is, you know, they, through a certain device, you know, just end up essentially, you know, well, falling asleep for 50 years and they wake up, but they haven't aged and now they're here. And so we play, it's not that they are time travelers per se, it's that, you know, they just happen to go through time by sleeping for a long time. And we do play with the concept of time travel once or twice during the season, but that's, you know, how we ended up coming up with that. And we just thought it would make it more relatable for everybody and we could, you know, always flash back to the 60s. And so it would give us the ability to have the show in both places. And to your earlier question, also, we do homages to the original comic books in some of that stuff as far as what the core ideas were in there. So it gave us every opportunity to do anything we wanted.
And of course, the original comics were truly underground and like counterculture in the true sense. How are you striking that balance? Would you say to the potential audience that it's just sheer, like as funny as it can be? Are there still countercultural elements? Do you satirize? Do you poke fun of society? What's the balance there?
I would say that the world is a counterculture world now. Not that much has changed a lot, unfortunately. In many ways, and if not always. And so I think that the Allens are great writers, the showrunners. So they've really, I think, struck a balance between modernization of these characters and where they came from. And I think what they really did that's significant is they've created an emotional cord between both. So Of course, we want everyone laughing and having a great time, but there's definitely a connection purposefully about the society and the world we live in. And that's part of the joy of the Freak Brothers, is that they have a really strong, and the cat, of course, point of view. And it's important to us to keep it really funny and really smart.
I was going to say the cat definitely brings a lot of the comedy. Tiffany, how has your experience been bringing Fat Freddy's cat to life, especially a character who didn't have a voice before?
Well, I'm having fun with it. I enjoy it. I say a lot of crazy things when we're recording. I don't know what's ended up in the show, what hasn't. Like Adam was saying, there's a lot of dick jokes. I'll make a lot of pussy jokes. I'll bring the
Let's go.
Balance it out. Yeah.
You gotta balance it out. Like, don't forget about the wop, you know? And I do, and my character does end up in a river. Anyways, it is what it is.
Sounds like a fair amount of improv going on. Is that accurate to say?
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Any smoking in the voice booth?
In the closet, which is weird, but.
Yeah, how has it been different during this time of quarantine and COVID? How's the production been?
We're seeing a lot of our cast's closets all across the country.
Yeah.
Last time I had to put a blanket over my head and like a little tent, and then I was like this, and I was doing it into a microphone like this, and I was like, this is a really bad porn.
Yeah, but then you were looking for a glass to put against the wall because there was some stuff going on in the room next door and you didn't know what was up.
Yeah, they was doing it in the room next door. I could hear it. I could hear it. And so.
So, you know, we've seen everybody's closet. I mean, you know, we've seen Tiffany's closet. We've seen Pete's closet a bunch of times.
The reason being that that's where the acoustics are the best to record. So,
yeah. That's the best we can do under the circumstances, but it's worked out really well, actually. I mean, in the end, it's worked out really well. You know, and John, you're always in the studio. You've managed to still make it to a studio every time.
Yeah, you don't want me doing this stuff at home.
I want to go to the studio. Why I can't go to the studio?
Because we like you in the closet.
There we go.
Yeah, see, I work at IGN and we do the blanket thing. I had thought that you big Hollywood types would have devised a better system by now, but I guess not.
I still live in South Central LA, man.
There you go.
I'm at an Airbnb in San Diego right now, bro. I'm on a budget.
Weren't you talking about buying land right before this panel started rolling?
Yes, in Dayton, Ohio, where it's like $40,000 for like several acres.
Balance it out. Yeah.
Right.
Well, one thing that has changed is that weed in America is largely legalized, or at least decriminalized. And we did get plenty of audience questions about that because, of course, the Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers, proud stoners to the end. So we wanted to ask, now that weed is largely legalized and the Freak Brothers are built around stonership, who would you want to smoke a joint with? Anyone living or dead, and why? Please dive in.
I want to smoke one with Tiffany. And eat that spaghetti squash. That's it.
Yeah, baby.
There you go.
I'll smoke one with you if Lenny Bruce and Lucille Ball and Richard Pryor could be there too.
That's a good list.
Yeah, that's a good crew.
Spread.
Oh, he said
Fucking George Carlin as well. George Carlin need to come through too.
Yeah. I don't know. It's I feel like this cast is a pretty good crew to smoke a joint with.
I think for people alive, I've pretty much smoked with everybody I wanted to smoke with. I would love to have smoked a joint with George Harrison, who I greatly admire, and at least his wife Olivia, who's Laura and I are friends with, my wife. She gave us George's ashtray, so. She came over one time and she said, that's exactly like George used to have it. Well, you can imagine it was quite full. And, or, you know, I also thought Henry Miller, who I love as a writer and I just think was just a great personality, be a fun guy to hang with. You know, or Paramahansa Yogananda. He wrote Autobiography of a Yogi. He was a deeply spiritual man and he definitely almost certainly wouldn't have smoked a joint, but I'd sure love to hang with them, and maybe I'll just be the one puffing. You know, I had one other idea. I'd like to, you say living or dead, I would say Willie Nelson, even though I've smoked 10,000 joints with him, and the fact that, you know, he's quarantined, I can't even get close to him. He's in Texas. And anyway, I would love to get to hang out with him and fire up a hooter in the not too distant.
Yeah, let's talk just a little bit about the actual plans for the show, because I know you guys have already gotten close to completing a season, right? What are the plans as far as moving forward? I know you have like mini-sodes to celebrate the season launch, things like that. Where can people like find out more about the Freak Brothers and what's going on?
Well, right now, I mean, you know, we did this whole show, as we call it, independently ourselves in the first place, which is always a fun way to do it. Because you asked a question before, because we wanted to be no holds barred. So you're asking if we're going to be the original Freak Brothers. We've changed some things, but I mean, this show is no holds barred and we enjoy it like that. It's all tasteful, but it's fun. And, you know, we take our chances and we have a good time with it. So there is an announcement coming, which we can't say right now.
For sure.
Yeah, unfortunately, we would love to, but we can't say. But basically, we're hoping the show comes out sometime in December, January.
And I'm going to tell it, it's going to be on Metro, PCS, Cricket, Telephone.
There it is. That's the announcement.
So one of the things we insisted on.
Only watch it on Obama phones.
We're actually buying Quibi, so it's going to be.
It's the same price as the land in Dayton.
Yeah, exactly.
It was purchased from the Dayton land.
Yeah.
Right. We're buying Quibi. That's, yeah, we had that.
But definitely.
We're not allowed to announce that yet.
You have another 40,000, you can have a Quibi.
we were actually had a choice between Quibi and TikTok, but we having problems with both, it turns out. So,
oh, man.
I mean, no one's watching one and the other's not welcome. It's a great society we live in.
Yeah, we didn't have Oracle kind of money, so, you know, that was a problem.
Let's just start an OnlyFans. That's where it's at.
Smart, Blake. Yeah, I like it.
Outwork every other week.
Every other week. For what we're paying you, Tiffany?
I mean, it's only $1,700. I mean, come on.
You know, one of the great guilty pleasures of this production has been that we've never shut down. I think that's like something people would like to know, because for those of us all here who do this for a living, it was a really shocking time personally, but also professionally. And we had no fucking idea about what was up. But we had, crazily enough, as I said, Courtney and I had never done animation before. So with the help of everyone here, we were able to keep going, which reinforced the fact that we actually had careers. And then we're still going, you know, and now that productions are coming back, it's interesting because it was kind of a guilty pleasure in a weird way for a while, because we would say to people, yeah, we're filming today, we're shooting today, and we'd say the superstars we're working with. And of course, people thought we were out of our fucking minds because everyone was sitting home not working. But it is one of the cool things about animation that we now know. And obviously, 3/4 of the Hollywood business now has gotten into animation since COVID, which is crazy because they had no choice. So it's really been, in a way, we've been really on the cutting edge of that with the Freak Brothers, and we're blessed by that.
And basically, like from January to March, there's not going to be any real people on Netflix or anywhere else, just animation.
Right.
Yeah, but it sounds like, again, you've gone sort of the comics, true to the comics with an X underground route, and that's cool. I'm really excited to see what you guys cook up with No Holds Barred, as you say. Was there a writer's room, or did the process start early enough for like an in-person writer's room, or has it really been a process of remotely building the show, actors improvising, and things like that?
We were fortunate enough to complete the writer's room before Armageddon. So we were able to have a writer's room with some very talented writers, and we were at least able to break out, all the scripts prior to COVID.
Gotcha. Well, one last question before we wrap up for people completely sort of unfamiliar with the property. I wanted to just sort of break down the brothers and differentiate that group. So, John, what would you say Fat Freddy is all about to someone who's coming into this for the first time?
His whole motivation is eating and eventually pooping a couple of days later and staying high. He's pretty simple. He loves his cat. And they just hang out and eat and poop.
Pete, can I get a rundown on Phineas? How do you introduce him?
But you can't say eat and poop. John's covered that.
Yeah, that's taken.
Phineas is like a shitty Doc Brown. He's just like, thinks that he has all these great ideas and these creations, and he thinks that he's the leader, but he's really just really high. And he's a fun little part of the group.
Awesome. And we'll let Woody answer as far as Freewheelin Franklin goes.
Well, I think it's really funny. If you're a stoner, it's probably a little funnier than if you're not. But either way, I think it's really funny. It's a great ride. It's just pure entertainment. So I hope people take a moment and check it out.
Tiffany, Fat Freddy's cat. If people haven't seen anything from the show, what would you say?
The cat is the narrator. The cat keeps the story moving along and keeps the guys motivated to make moves.
Yeah, absolutely.
The cat's the highest paid.
Kitty is also
$1,300, baby. Yep.
Well, I'm going to be honest. I did every moderator's nightmare and burned through all my questions because I thought a bunch of high people would ramble more. But I'm going to do what I always wish a moderator would do and ask, what do you guys want to talk about? We got just a few minutes left.
I want to talk about your shirt.
Roast them.
Wait, this shirt?
Yes.
What's wrong with it?
Nothing, but I just want to know, like, do you make pancakes or do you like cut wood? I want to know.
I don't have the upper body strength, so it's the pancakes for sure. Okay. All the way.
Flapjacks.
I'm an eat and poop guy as well. Yeah.
I like that.
I'd show you my hard-earned stoner cleavage, but this is not the right shirt for that.
Well, I don't want to see that. Nobody wants to see that.
All right. I think it might be time to wrap up, but I did want to thank.
Stoned before you moderated this.
Yeah.
What's that, Courtney?
I want to know if you got stoned before you moderated this.
I'll have you know I was told I could, and I refrained. Too many nerves involved.
Really?
Sure bad.
There you go. We like it.
Starting to match your shirt.
Does anyone want to narc themselves?
Yeah.
No. There you go. All right, we got one.
Yeah.
What's that
And Woody is assumed, so.
What is it assume? He's foundation.
I'm on China White heroin.
Come on.
They still make that?
They asked me to run the panel until John Goodman implicated himself in a serious crime, and we've done that. So
It's not that serious. Come on.
That's
It's not
true.
that serious.
all right.
Let him
It
live.
will be when I run out.
All right. Well, that is all the time we have. But thank you so much to all of our panelists. This has been a real treat and an honor for me. So thank you so much again. Thanks to everyone watching. And make sure you check out The Freak Brothers, coming soon to a screen near you. In the meantime, we are going to leave you with an exclusive Freak Brothers clip. This is from the minisode Edibles. You can check out the full Edibles minisode tomorrow at IGN.com. So keep a lookout for that as well. Thanks so much. See you later.
A little something special I cooked up. This shit'll take you places, boys.
There must be some kind of way out of here. There is no opportunity.
Ow! My backside. What happened, Phineas?
Where the fuck we at, man?
This ain't 1969.
No, it ain't, Franklin. Somehow we got thrown into the future. Marijuana dispensary. Yeah. Oh, get the fuck off me, Freddy! Are you telling me weed is legal?
Gimme. Of course it's legal. Are you ready for an edible?